Brooks and Davis Real Estate Firm, LLC, offers more value than any other good full-service real estate brokerage firm when it comes to the sale of your home. We offer at least 27 things that contribute to your home selling in the least amount of time at the highest price. To receive our free home selling pamphlet, email us at info@brooksanddavis.com or call 713-665-8329. We also assist people who want to purchase homes or who are interested in getting their real estate license. Visit us at www.brooksanddavis.com.
Ladies, are you looking to learn more about football? Well, go out today and grab your copy of the Gransberry Gridiron Guide. It's the perfect comfort book with quick tips on football, fan life, and tailgating. Just go to thegransberry.com and grab your copy today.
Are you an inspiring entrepreneur? Or maybe you're an entrepreneur looking to take your business to the next level. My name is Larry W. Brooks, and I am the author of Empowering Quotes for the Entrepreneur in You and The Entrepreneur Code. In these two books, I guarantee you there's success secrets that will take your business to the next level. I personally invite you to visit larrywbrooks.com. Go under the books link and purchase your signed personal copy from myself. You have a great day and have an awesome 2020. Pure Hustle is not only a clothing brand, but it is a movement. I personally invite you to visit shoppurehustle.com. How do you survive?
Happy Thursday. Welcome to the Prime Real Estate Network podcast. I'm your host, Rick Davis. If you don't follow me on social media, I urge you to do so at Prime Real Estate Rick. Please go to Facebook and Instagram and follow me at Prime Real Estate Rick. If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in commercial or residential real estate anywhere in the great state of Texas, but especially here in our lovely city of Houston, please visit our website at brooksanddavis.com. I want to thank everybody for tuning in this week, man. I have a very, very exciting episode planned. This is one of those special episodes where I have the honor and pleasure of welcoming in a guest co-host. Yeah, you heard me correctly. Mr. Larry W. Brooks out on assignment, pushing the brand and handling business as always, which gives me one of the rare opportunities to have someone sit into the co-pilot seat, man, and I'm really, really, really excited to have this dynamic brother on the show with us this week to co-host. He's not only a sociologist, certified life coach, but he's also an entertainment host and entrepreneur. But one of the things that he's doing that I am especially proud of him for doing is because he's the co-founder of an anti-human trafficking nonprofit based in Los Angeles, California, called TikTok Services. Without any further ado, I would like to introduce to the Prime Real Estate Network audience the King Konnector himself, Mr. Kenny Henry. How you doing, brother?
Doing fine, my brother, doing fine. Thank you for having me. It is a pleasure, honor to be here. But let me just say this. First, Mr. Brooks, you need to hurry up and get back here. I'm telling you right now, because, you know, the seat might be occupied by the time you get back.
No. I'm telling you, no, Kenny. And for the members of our audience who haven't had an opportunity to engage and meet the King Konnector, I want to make sure I share with the entire audience that I am a fan and an avid listener and watcher of the King Konnector Show podcast.
Nice. Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Could you share with our audience a little bit about the King Konnector Show podcast and what it is
Proudly,
that you do every week?
Proudly. Okay, so the King Konnector Show, and Konnector is with a K. This is a social platform where I do on YouTube, Facebook, also Instagram. And basically the premise of the show is to interview people that are doing inspiring things in the world. So inspirational people. That can be children, that can be adults. And, it doesn't matter whether it's celebrity, non-celebrity. The whole goal is to introduce those people to as many people as possible in hopes that they will also inspire those people to action, however that looks in their individual lives. So I love doing that. And, also this particular season, we had Tyler Perry. He was actually the first highlight on the King Konnector show, and basically about him being an inspirational entity as a black man, a minority in this country that have been able to build what he's created, the biggest studio in America, in North America, and how he has employed so many people and has so many entities, and it's all black owned, and he owns it all. And so for me, when you think about the history and especially what we have going on right now in our world with the social climate, with social injustice and all that, I think these are the kind of stories that we really need to focus in on too, for hope and drive. So with that, one of his newest projects has been the Oval TV show on BET.
Yes.
And he also, I believe he's the one who actually bought the partnership, or he bought the BET Plus, which is a separate, network. But that show is on there. And so what I've been doing is doing recaps of the show each week. And they just had their season finale last night, which was crazy, of course.
All right.
But also every week before the show comes on, I interview a different cast member on the show, just to introduce who are they outside of the screen, off the stage, as a person, and what was their journey like. And it's been so fun, and it's been so inspirational to talk with each one of them. And I've been getting nothing but great feedback from the viewers and the audience, and it's just amazing. So yeah, I love the King Konnector show. That's King Konnector show, and that's with a K.
And I urge everyone, if you haven't had an opportunity to view the King Konnector show, but you are a fan of the Oval, go back, look at some of his past episodes, because one of the great things about Kenny's podcast is that it gives viewers an opportunity to meet cast members.
Right.
When they're in their own relaxed environments,
Yes.
a lot of time at home.
Absolutely.
And even though they can't give away any spoilers, they do give you some invaluable insights and tidbits that you wouldn't get anywhere else.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And one of the things I like the most about it is, for instance, you have a character, like on the show, there's a character, Kyle. So Kyle is one of these Secret Service people that is crazy. I mean, all he does is kill people. He's always creating scandal. He's always covering up scandal. But then, now you interview him, which his name is Brad Benedict. And so you get to see what a really cool guy and how opposite that character is from him as a person. And I think that is what, because I'll tell you, before I even interviewed him, and I know it's TV and acting, I hated the guy. I was like, bro, I want to drag this dude. I can't stand him. Right. But after you interview him, it's like, man, this was one of the coolest people. And now when I look at it, I'm able to control my emotions a lot better.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I want to thank you again, because while you're here in Houston,
yeah,
I know your schedule's been jam-packed.
Oh, yeah, bro. It
So
has.
being able to have you sit in on,
Yeah.
especially as a guest co-host, man, I want to thank you publicly, man. I
Bro,
really
privilege
do appreciate
and
it.
honor, man, bro.
But I want to get to today's guest,
Yeah.
because, see, I want everyone in the audience to understand that this guest is backed by popular demand.
All right.
So much so that I had to call in another professional interviewer to help me get all of the insight out of our guest that the viewer, have been demanding. So without any further ado, you may remember this lovely lawyer, entrepreneur, and author from our previous episode entitled Intellectual Protection. But today, we're going to get some of those questions that you, the viewer, have inboxed me about that you had from the past episode. So please, thank you for making her second appearance on the Prime Real Estate Network podcast, the author of the Gransberry Gridiron Guide, Ms. Natasha L Gransberry.
Good afternoon.
Yes, yes.
And welcome. Nice to meet you as well. I'm glad to be back.
Hey, I'm getting right to it, because anyone who didn't have an opportunity to see your previous appearance, I urge them to do so, because the feedback that we got after you visited with us the first time was outstanding. And one of the main things that I received as far as feedback was that the information that you were providing from a legal perspective was so powerful that before we could look up, 30 minutes had passed. And it wasn't until a lot of the viewers and listeners told me that we didn't really get into a lot of the nitty gritty as far as your travel, your path as not only a lawyer, but a businesswoman and entrepreneur, because your energy, especially after becoming an author and writing books and traveling so extensively, we didn't really get in touch with how you can make time to do all that kind of stuff and how you evolved to the entrepreneur and business lady that you are today. So my first question for you is this.
Okay.
Did you enjoy your first appearance on the pod?
I loved it.
Okay, because
loved it.
I just want you to know that everyone who had a chance to check it out, man, just felt like your energy was so positive that they wanted to reach out to you, snatch up the book and everything. And one of the coolest things about having you back on the show is that we now officially know we're going to have an NFL football season.
Yes.
Now,
I need that.
I thought about you when the press release went out that, that the owners and the players had came to an agreement. So I just want to ask you, now that there's going to be some changes as far as the allowing fans in, that type of thing, what do you have planned for the upcoming football season personally?
Personally, I'm going to evaluate it game by game.
Okay.
I will be honest, I do plan to attend. So if I'm healthy, I have to wear a suit, 2 pair of gloves, 3 hats, sanitize every 2 seconds. Mm-hmm. I'm in.
I know.
I'm in, whether it's home or away. But my point in trying to evaluate it is that I need certain stadiums at this point. So I have to evaluate it according to what their rules may be in travel, because the issue comes down to quarantining properly and those type of restrictions. So that may affect me. I don't have a say-so in all of those.
No, and
decisions.
that's one of the things that makes the Gransberry Gridiron Guide so valuable as a resource, is that in your book, you talk about some of your travels around the league, tailgating in different cities, some of your favorite stadiums. So for those people who may have that same motivation as you to see the games in the areas where they can, I urge them to go and pick up your book and get a little background as far as where they're going and what they can expect to see, even if it isn't what it was traditionally.
True. And they probably would serve better following me personally.
Because, absolutely.
Well, because I can give you a more current, up-to-date insight on the most recent visit I may have had before publishing the book.
Right.
And things you can ask. I mean, I'm really good with answering questions, or open to it, I should say. The best way to say that is I'm more open to answering questions people have about travel, where to stay. I don't really think it's information to hold hostage.
No, absolutely.
Because I'm looking for everybody to have fun too.
No, and I can do you one better, because of course we want them to get the book. Of course we want them to follow you. But I think those who truly are gravitating towards not only your energy but also your movement, I think it'll be most important for them to join your group. Can you talk a little bit about the group that you have? Okay.
So if you're a lady, because it is for ladies, I run a sports group called Pumps, Cleats, Couture, and it's derived from a very positive place, but a somewhat upsetting place. It started from just not really feeling like everything in the co-ed groups served me personally.
Oh, wow.
And wanting to offer a different space, and not one that was so set and rigorous on, can you define the route tree or determine who was the wide receiver in 1982? You know, right. Things that you usually find in a more aggressive sports group between different members. Yeah. I wanted something that, from what I see when I'm dealing with fans and meeting them in public, that some people are just happy it's Sunday, that a first down just happened, touchdown, just want to enjoy the environment. Some people pick teams for uniforms, one player in college, colors, right. You know, something someone may do socially. So in that space, the ladies are free to have it. We cover all sports, men or women, it doesn't matter. And it's just a natural place to feel happy. And if you change teams, it's okay in my group. You're still a bandwagon fan, but it's in a healthy space.
Right.
It's not in a space to try to force you to change your mind. So I share other ladies who have podcasts in my group, so that you can find other information all over the U.S. I share information when I visit other sports podcasts. I take polls, ask questions, and then I plan annual trips. So it just depends on what you're looking for, but you're free to offer as much as you would like to the group or as little as you would like to the group. So
I have to ask this, and this may be a bit of a curveball for you, but I have to ask you as a Texans fan, how did you feel when Mr. Hopkins was moved to Arizona?
So that is already on my Instagram page. I said,
And we
that
urge you to
day-
follow her on Instagram.
So I made it very clear that day I'm okay with it.
Oh,
Right. I am not one of those.
No
fans.
rant.
No rant.
no, right. Oh my goodness, great.
Actually, I was in a meeting when the press release or the news dropped.
Right.
And my phone was just going crazy
Right.
from inbox, messenger, Instagram, ringing, text messages. And I was trying to conduct the meeting and I was like, why does everybody act like I work for the team? And they were like, because you do indirectly. So you need to say something. I was like, but this is more important. So I took a moment, recorded a short blurb and stated my opinion about it. And I think people forget that it's still a business. You need a cohesive unit when you run a business. And sometimes when pieces are not working together well, then you have to make changes.
Absolutely.
And that's how life is. I mean, sometimes people use their personal feelings about how they may feel about a particular owner or a coach to decide what should be done with a player, but it doesn't work that way. Real life doesn't work that way.
Absolutely.
So they're allowed to feel that way. And I said that. You can feel however you want to, but we're moving on.
Oh, man. That's a very grounded and mature attitude.
And it happens. Look, I've had quarterbacks that I don't even like to mention, but you have to move on. And when they were on the team, I had to cheer. And if you don't want to, people say you don't have to. You don't.
That's true.
So if you're unhappy, find a new space.
Now, you know, it's
Bandwagoner, whatever make
No,
you
no.
happy.
And see, this is so great. See, Kenny, I very rarely have an opportunity to interview a guest twice.
Yeah.
So now I feel like we're getting into that layer
Yeah.
of fandom and energy and just the excitement that comes with new beginnings. So we're going to take a short break, but I definitely want to ask you a couple of questions that some of the audience members sent to me before the show, if you
Okay.
don't mind.
I don't.
Everyone, please stay tuned to the Prime Real Estate Network podcast because we'll be right back after this short break.
This is Rick Davis, realtor and host of the Prime Real Estate Network. Are you currently leasing or looking to relocate to the Houston area and you find yourself falling in love with the home but aren't quite in a position to purchase? Well, no worries. We offer the Right to Purchase program. We can place you in the home of your dreams at current market rental rates and give you up to 3 years to buy. Did you know that a majority of the homes that are for sale offer better quality than those that are for rent? So why wait? Don't cheat yourself, treat yourself. Let me and my team help you purchase a home that you and your family can fall in love with. Give me a call today at 832-928-3963 and remember to follow the Prime Real Estate Network podcast on YouTube, Facebook, iTunes, Spotify, and Google Play. I look forward to hearing from you soon. Be blessed. Ladies, are you looking to learn more about football? Well, go out today and grab your copy of the Gransberry Gridiron Guide. It's the perfect comfort book with quick tips on football, fan life, and tailgating. Just go to thegransberry.com and grab your copy today.
Welcome back to the Prime Real Estate Network podcast. I'm your host, Rick Davis. You can follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Prime Real Estate Rick. If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, stop by our website at brooksanddavis.com. Always, it's a pleasure to be here with you this Thursday. We have a special guest co-host sitting in with us. He is known worldwide as the King Konnector, host of the King Konnector show. Mr. Kenny Henry, how you doing, bro?
Doing fabulous, bro. Fabulous here in hot Texas.
I want to share a little information about you with our audience.
Yeah.
I mentioned when we introduced at the beginning of the show that you're a founder of an anti-human trafficking nonprofit based in Los Angeles called TikTok Services.
Correct.
Could you talk to our audience a little bit about what put that on your heart and what it is we can expect from TikTok Services as you guys continue to move forward with the movement?
Absolutely. I love it, bro. Love it. That is something very, very, of course, the subject is very dark, and I hate that we even have to have a movement like TikTok Services and other organizations because of that need, but I love it, and what inspired me, basically, I feel like, honestly, I was always, since a kid, I had a very sensitivity toward abuse. And I do remember as early as, I think, at 9 or 10, getting a haircut at a cousin's house. And I was out there with all the older guys. And a guy drove up across the street. And I just heard, one of the guys like, uh-oh. And so, of course, as a kid, it intrigues your curiosity. So I'm like, what are they uh-ohing for? And everybody's looking at the guy. And then they're mumbling other things. And this guy walks into his house. All of a sudden, he comes out with this woman by her hair, dragging her out. And I'm like, as a kid, I'm like, why is he doing that? Why is he doing that? And everybody's just like, wow, he got, So they knew a lot of the backstory. Apparently, she was having trouble. That was his wife with addiction. And that was a place where she was doing the drugs. And so he was pulling her out. But I just remember, regardless, I had such a sensitivity, and I was like, why are none of these men? I don't know, but you know what I mean. You grow up and you're like, oh, like stay out of that, stay out of that. And I think someone told me because I asked them, someone help her, and I remember that just stuck with me. So honestly, I realized later that was a traumatizing experience for me, and so I kind of grew up with that sensitivity of that violence toward anybody that's vulnerable. In my opinion, that I deem as vulnerable. And so, of course, my background led me, from Louisiana to, L.A. And in L.A., it was completely different. I got exposed to even more of those things. And at the time, I was working heavily in the fashion industry. And then I ended up evolving to human services, where I was managing, foster homes, and then working with the County of Orange, helping save placement of kids, working with the, county professionals like social workers, therapists, probation officers. And it was then where I got my first experience with what we know now as human trafficking. But then nobody was really talking about that.
Right.
We couldn't understand why these young high school girls were getting pulled, and what we find out, these are old guys, and we're thinking they're just sick pedophiles or whatever, but we didn't realize they were actual traffickers. And that was a big population they targeted because they knew, hey, they were vulnerable, they had low self-esteem, they lacked that family unit. And so life kept taking me to eventually where I started working for an agency that we dealt specifically with that. And then that's kind of how I evolved. And then from that, I decided, no, there's more we can do. And I saw a lot of the red tape or whatever. And honestly, it was just things I didn't agree with that I was seeing within the entities. And so it made me start my own. And so I went ahead and started my own, and I have an amazing business partner out of LA, Daniel Husseini, and he has a big passion for substance abuse. And he actually had his own, history with that. And so it just made sense for us. We came together because substance abuse is so prevalent in human trafficking because, traffickers, what they do, even if the girls never used drugs before, or boys, let me just say, because there's actually boys too, that myth is just women, but men are also pulled in to be trafficked. They use drugs to control them.
Absolutely.
And so, so what we've been doing there is building a lot in LA, and LA especially, for my heart, has been big because, unfortunately, 65%, between 65 to 70% of all the reported cases have been black women, right? And when we looked at the numbers of the reported traffickers on the ground, it was anywhere between, 60 to 65% of black males. So what that said to me and a lot of other my cohorts that are black, there's a major issue in our community, and this is tearing up the fabric of our community. And the big question was, why?
It's funny because me and you had opportunity to talk about this on a few occasions before. I had opportunity to have you sit in with us, man. And what I think is so powerful is that human trafficking, like you said, has become a lot more of a buzzworthy term in the last couple of years. But I think very few people know how deep and dark the underbelly of society can be from that standpoint. So I want to thank you for your work. And I look forward to supporting you any way that I can once you guys move your organization, start doing some work out here. So if there's anything that we can do as far as a platform, helping you get out the message, please let me know. So I want to thank you so much.
Bro, you're very
for
welcome.
Sitting in.
Very welcome. My pleasure.
Our guest, Ms. Natasha L Gransberry, author of the Gransberry Gridiron Guide and real estate lawyer. Too. Oh, no, absolutely. I love the entire book. I have an opportunity to check out her website, go through a lot of the things that she has going on, and she's a very well-rounded business professional and entrepreneur. So I want to make sure I ask you, because this is something a lot of our audience on Facebook would like to know, especially those who saw your last appearance. Could you talk a little bit about your background? Is there anyone in your family that might have served as an entrepreneur, business owner, that might have kind of set you on a path? Because your path is traditional in some senses, but you're such an individual and you're so passionate about a variety of topics, but it's allowed you to branch off and do different things. So who served as an inspiration or a mentor for you, Natasha?
Good
So,
question.
in fairness, I would say it's collective.
Oh, wow.
There were no immediate entrepreneurs, but I think that hard work and effective plans and seeing opportunities changed a lot for me as a kid. My mom was a person that always worked hard and sometimes 2 jobs, but I never really understood why. Like, we were never like almost lights off kids. We lived in the suburbs, but that was her hard work. I mean, she
Right.
worked hard, but she showed up. She was still an active parent, you know. So to me, it was like just a normal thing.
Right.
You didn't realize till later, like, oh, my mom got off one job
Yeah.
and went to
Yeah.
the other job.
Right.
You can respect her grind
Right.
different.
And then my dad was always very rigorous about schoolwork. And he said because he didn't take it serious. So he was very passionate about teaching me that fundamental rule of if the teacher's on chapter 2, you're on chapter 3. You're never with the teacher or you're behind.
Right.
So I was never behind. I mean, I didn't know how to be because it was already natural.
Ingrained in you.
Right. And then I had an aunt who worked in corporate America, was a huge bigwig in corporate America, has a luncheon named after her. You know, she's been inducted into different business Hall of Fames in the Dallas
Hall of
area.
Fame was on deck.
Right, and worked through every phase of Southwestern Bell at the time, but AT&T
right.
until shortly before her death. She worked with some different nonprofits up until her death, but she was pretty much majority of her career was with AT&T.
Right.
And so seeing all of that, you think you want to be corporate and work hard, but I was an entrepreneur as a kid. I had the candy shop in the neighborhood.
You was the candy
Used
lady.
to- I
Well, you the
charged to
candy
deliver.
girl.
I was a candy girl. I charged to deliver
love it.
candy.
Oh, you was
I cut
delivering.
yards.
All right.
You know, so I always had some spirit of doing things my own way.
Right.
So I think sometimes it's within, and then I think other times you evolve, and you evolve faster or bigger steps based on your circle.
Yep.
And so then you have to make personal choices of what type of circles or rooms you keep, as I said earlier. So my circles are small, but I'm in many rooms.
Right.
So, and that for me thrives.
Yeah.
You know, I've worked as an engineer, a janitor,
Oh, wow.
a car driver. You know, I don't have a title fascination.
Yeah.
Right.
I have a life
you.
fascination.
Woo.
So whatever it
That's
is
so
that
deep.
like
That is so
excites
deep.
my life,
Right.
I will do it. So I have picked up people before as an Uber driver, as a lawyer, you know,
Right.
and I don't care. I'll talk to them the same way I would talk to you if you were another lawyer or I never became a lawyer. Titles don't define you. So
And I appreciate your candor because unfortunately when we only know people from a social media space, you tend to put people in boxes.
Or pedestals.
Absolutely. And I'm glad that we've given you this opportunity and you've been able to bless us with your appearance to dispel any myths, rumors, or stereotypes about lawyers are this or football fans are that. And that we
Right.
can start melding those groups. Because you'll be surprised how many people just assume that they can't be as well-rounded or I couldn't work in that circle or these
Yeah.
people couldn't work in our circle. So it seems like to me you're such a uniter.
right.
So what I want to do is please share with our audience how they can follow you on social media, your websites, and how they can become a member of Pumps, Cleats, and Couture.
Well, actually, you have to request to be a member only because I want to verify you're a lady.
That's good. No, that's very
and,
good.
and that's just the space.
Absolutely.
And so I don't, have any other rule other than that with the group. But social media is open. So other than sharing in the content on a day-to-day basis, that's the purpose of the group. My trips are usually co-ed. For the most part, our trip information is co-ed. So if you're not in the group, you're not left out. And
Join,
everything is the
join,
Gransberry. So
Absolutely.
I keep it simple. Twitter, Instagram.
And
I'm
that's-
not really a
Everyone.
tweeter
And
as
that's
much.
me neither. And Gransberry without the D.
Without the D.
Okay.
I'm already
And-
grand
yeah.
enough.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
With the S.
With the
That's the
S.
difference with
Right,
the S.
yeah.
Absolutely, man. Thank you so much, man. You were heavily requested.
It's always a pleasure.
And I appreciate you being able to come when we send up the bat signal. Yeah, so thank you so much, man. Kenny.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much as well, sir. I look forward to
Our
working
pleasure.
with you here in Houston.
Yeah, same.
Anything you need, let us know. We're here for you. Yeah. Mr. Larry W. Brooks, we holding it down for you, brother, man. Be safe, be well. I look forward to seeing you all next Thursday. I want to thank everybody for tuning into the Prime Real Estate Network podcast, and we'll see you all next week. Be blessed.
Brooks & Davis Real Estate Firm, LLC is marketing a property for sale right now that you can buy. These properties range from land lots for under $20,000 to move-in ready homes $500,000 and more, along with everything in between. To see this week's list of properties for sale you can buy now, go to bit.ly/BDREF weekly list. That's bit.ly/BDREF weekly list. If you plan on selling some real estate and you need it on the weekly list, call 713-665-8329 to speak with someone about it.